A little girl told the alpha, "My mom has the same moon mark as you." His wolf immediately stood. Shadows moved in the corners of Kale's vision, but none dared cross the borders of his territory without his knowing. He was the alpha of the Nightshade clan, a ruler feared even by the most daring wolves, and his presence alone could silence the whispers of the forest. Kale walked steadily along the hidden path, his boots pressing softly into the damp soil. The wind whispered through the branches, carrying the scent of wild herbs, moss, and something unfamiliar. His wolf, a massive black creature with eyes like amber fire, padded beside him. Kale had never felt completely alone as long as his wolf was near, but tonight there was a tension in the air he could not name. He paused, sniffing. The scent was faint but unmistakable, human. Not the hunters who occasionally stumbled into the forest, nor the wanderers who got lost among the trees. This was different. Fragile, nervous, yet persistent. Kale's wolf growled low, ears twitching, tail stiff. "Show yourself." Kale's voice was calm but carried the authority of a ruler born to command. "I will not harm a lost child if you are wise enough to speak truth." From behind a cluster of ferns, a small figure emerged. A little girl, perhaps no older than 8 or 9, with wide eyes that reflected the moonlight like glass. She clutched a bundle of herbs to her chest and stepped forward slowly. Her hair was tangled with leaves and her feet were bare. I didn't mean to, I'm lost," she whispered. "I was looking for herbs for my mother." Kale studied her carefully. Her fear was real, and yet there was a bravery in the way she met his gaze. Something about her, something beyond her age and size, tugged at a part of him he rarely acknowledged, curiosity and something older, almost like memory. "What is your name?" he asked, his tone softer than before. "Lena," she said, shivering slightly. "Lena and my mom, she has the same mark as you." Kale's breath caught. He barely managed to remain still. The forest seemed to quiet itself as if the trees themselves were listening. "My mark?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. "Yes," Lena said, looking down at the ground, then back at him. "The moon mark on her wrist, just like yours." Kale's wolf growled, a low rumble that vibrated through the air. Its ears perked, body tense. Even Kale felt a strange pull in his chest, something deep and ancient stirring inside him. The moon mark, he had thought he was the last of his line. No one else had survived, no one else carried the legacy. And yet here was proof, in the eyes of a child. "Show me your mother's mark," Kale commanded gently, stepping closer. Lena hesitated, then slowly rolled up her sleeve. On her small wrist was a faint silver crescent, glowing softly under the moonlight. The same mark that had burned on Kale's skin since birth. His wolf howled suddenly, a long, mournful sound that echoed through the forest. Kale's heart pounded. The mark was more than a symbol. It was a sign of destiny, of a bloodline older than the clans themselves. And if Lena's mother bore the same mark, Kale's mind raced with questions he did not want to ask aloud. "Where is she?" Kale's voice was low, steady, commanding. "Where is your mother?" She went away a long time ago," Lena whispered. "I don't know where. People say she disappeared, but I think she's alive." Kale's pulse quickened. The woman he had once loved, lost to war and betrayal, might still be alive. Memories rose unbidden. Her laughter, her hands brushing against his during the full moon ceremony, the quiet moments when she had trusted him completely. Selara. Her name hovered in his mind, a ghost, a whisper, a hope he had buried years ago. "Why are you here alone?" Kale asked, trying to focus on the present. "I had to find herbs," Lena said, hugging her bundle closer. "My mom is sick. I wanted to help her." Kale's wolf circled the child slowly, sniffing and growling in a protective rhythm. Kale knelt down to Lena's level. "You have courage, little one," he said softly, "but the forest is not safe for a child. You should not have come here alone." Lena looked at him, her small face determined. "I can't stay home. If I don't help her, she might die." Kale's chest tightened. He felt the weight of the moment, the gravity of the moon mark linking their fates. He could not deny her request, but taking her deeper into the forest was dangerous. He knew the rival clans would see her as a threat or a bargaining piece, and the dark forces lingering in the shadows would not hesitate to strike. "Very well," he said finally, "but you must trust me completely. No hesitation. One mistake and the forest will take you before I can reach you." Lena nodded. "I trust you." Kale rose, his wolf pacing beside him. They moved through the forest in silence, the mist curling around their feet, the moon casting a silver light on the path ahead. Kale could feel the pull of destiny growing stronger, a magnetic force drawing him forward. Lena's small presence beside him was like a spark in the darkness, fragile yet undeniable. As they walked, Kale tried to speak gently to ease the child's fear. "Tell me about your mother," he said. She was strong," Lena said, her voice trembling. "Brave like you, but she had enemies. People said she had a curse, that's why she disappeared." Kale's eyes narrowed. The curse. The word echoed in his mind, a painful memory of Selara's last words before she vanished. "A curse can be broken," he said quietly, more to himself than to Lena. "But some are not so easily lifted." The forest began to change as night deepened. Shadows lengthened, twisting around the trees, and strange sounds echoed in the distance, whispers carried by the wind, faint and almost human. Lena clutched Kale's coat in fear. "They're here," Kale murmured, his wolf growling low. "Stay close to me." Suddenly, a pack of shadow wolves emerged from the mist, their eyes glowing with unnatural light. Kale's wolf roared, and he felt the surge of his own power. The moon mark on his wrist pulsed, a silver light spreading through his veins. He had not unleashed this strength in years, not since the night Selara had disappeared. The shadow wolves circled, teeth bared, but Kale stepped forward, his presence commanding. His wolf mirrored him, growling with raw power. "Leave now," Kale said, his voice echoing in the forest, "or face me." For a moment, silence. Then the shadow wolves slowly retreated, melting into the mist, leaving only whispers in their wake. Kale lowered his hand, his body still tense with adrenaline. Lena looked up at him, eyes wide. "Your power, it's like magic," she whispered. Kale looked at his own hands, feeling the marks pulse slow. "It is not magic," he said quietly. "It is legacy and destiny. Something that connects us to those who came before and those who will come after." They continued walking, deeper into the forest, until Kale reached a hidden clearing surrounded by ancient stones. "This is safe for now," he said. "We can rest here. Tomorrow we begin the search for your mother." Lena sat on the soft moss, exhausted, but her eyes shone with hope. Kale stood at the edge of the clearing, looking at the silver light of the moon, thinking of Selara and of the chain of fate that had led Lena to him. For the first time in years, he felt a flicker of something he thought he had lost forever: hope. And perhaps, in helping this child, he could finally uncover the truth about Selara and about himself. But the forest was never truly silent. A faint rustling sounded in the darkness beyond the clearing. Kale's wolf growled low, ears pricked. Lena shivered. From the shadows, a pair of glowing eyes appeared, watching, waiting. And Kale knew, with a chill that ran through his very bones, that the journey to find her mother would be far more dangerous than he had imagined, and far more powerful. The moon mark on Lena's wrist glowed brighter in the night, and Kale felt the weight of destiny pressing down. Whatever lay ahead, their lives were now bound together by blood, by fate, and by the light of the moon. The forest held its breath. And then a whisper floated through the mist, almost like a warning. "The Alpha is not ready, but she will awaken him." The moon hung high over Nightshade Forest, casting silver light across the mossy ground. The air was thick with mist, curling between the ancient trees as if the forest itself was alive, watching, waiting. Kale moved silently through the trees, Lena close behind, her small hand holding onto his coat. Kale's mind was restless. Ever since Lena had spoken of her mother and revealed the moon mark, A storm of emotions had stirred inside him: longing, fear, and a hope he thought had died long ago. The mark on Lena's wrist pulsed faintly in the moonlight, echoing his own, and with each step, Cale felt its pull grow stronger, guiding him toward answers he had avoided for years. "Cale," Lena whispered, breaking the heavy silence. Do you know my mother?" Cale stopped, his sharp amber eyes locking onto the young girl. Her voice trembled, but there was a strength there that reminded him of someone he once loved, someone whose laughter had filled the forest on nights like this. "Celara. I knew her," Cale said finally, his voice low. "Many years ago, she was strong, brave, and more powerful than anyone I have ever known, and yet the world was not kind to her." Lena's small hand gripped his coat tighter. "Then she is alive." Cale shook his head, his jaw tight. "I do not know. I have searched for her for years. The last I saw, she was taken, and after that there were only shadows." Lena's eyes filled with tears, but she quickly blinked them away. "I have to find her. I have to help her." Cale's wolf growled low, sensing her determination. He looked at her and something softened within him. "If we are to find her, we must be careful. Nightshade Forest is not the place for children. There are dangers here you cannot imagine." They walked deeper into the forest, the mist swirling around their feet. Shadows moved in the distance, strange shapes that seemed to disappear when Cale turned to look. The forest whispered secrets, and Cale felt the weight of the past pressing down on him. Memories of Celara, of their love, of the night she vanished. It all came rushing back. "Tell me about her," Lena said quietly. "Tell me everything you remember." Cale sighed, letting the words flow despite the pain they carried. "She had the moon mark just like you. It was a symbol of our bloodline, of a power that connects those who bear it. She was fierce and proud, but also kind, and she believed in hope, even when the world had none left for her." Lena listened, eyes wide. "Do you think she's in trouble?" Cale's jaw tightened. "I do not know, but whatever has taken her, it is dark and it is powerful. We must be ready for anything." As they moved, the forest grew darker, the mist thickening until it clung to their skin like cold silk. Strange whispers drifted through the trees, and Cale's wolf bristled, ears twitching. Something was following them. "Cale, do you hear that?" Lena whispered. Cale nodded, his eyes scanning the shadows. "Yes, stay close to me. Do not speak. Do not move unless I tell you to." From the darkness, figures began to emerge, creatures of shadow, their eyes glowing faintly red, their forms shifting like smoke. Cale's wolf growled, stepping forward with him. The creatures circled, watching, waiting for a sign of weakness. "Stand behind me," Cale said firmly. Lena obeyed, her small frame trembling but steady. Cale's hand brushed hers, and for a brief moment he felt a connection, a spark of destiny linking them. The shadow creatures advanced, and Cale could feel the power of the moon mark surging through him. It was raw, wild, and terrifying, but also familiar. He had not used it in years, not since the night Celara disappeared. The memories of that night flashed before him, the betrayal, the attack, the loss. With a deep breath, Cale let the power flow. His wolf roared, a sound that shook the trees and made the shadow creatures hesitate. Cale stepped forward, and the creatures recoiled from the light that now glowed from his moon mark. "This is your warning," Cale said, his voice low and commanding. "Leave this forest. Leave now or you will face me." The creatures hesitated, then retreated, melting into the mist like smoke. Cale's wolf lowered its head, breathing heavily. Lena looked up at him, eyes wide with awe. "Your power, it's amazing," she whispered. Cale looked at his hands, feeling the familiar surge of energy fading. "It is not magic," he said quietly. "It is legacy. It is the blood that runs through our veins. It is what binds those who bear the mark to one another, across time and fate." They continued walking, the forest slowly calming around them. Cale led Lena to a small clearing where the moonlight shone brightest, illuminating the moss-covered stones that had stood for centuries. He knelt down beside her. "Rest here for a while," he said. "Tomorrow we will begin the search for your mother, but tonight we must be vigilant. The The forest does not forgive mistakes. Lena sat on the soft moss, exhausted but alert. She looked at Kale, her small face determined. I want to help. I want to be strong like her, like you. Kale studied her, a mix of admiration and caution in his eyes. You are strong, Lena, stronger than you know. But strength is not just about power. It is about courage, wisdom, and heart. You must learn to balance all three, or the forest will test you in ways you cannot imagine. For a long time, they sat in silence, listening to the whispers of the trees and the distant howl of a wolf. Kale's thoughts drifted to Selara again, to the bond they had shared, and to the hope that maybe, just maybe, she was still alive. Suddenly, Lena reached out, touching the mark on her wrist. Kale, it's glowing. Is it supposed to do that? Kale looked at her, feeling the pulse of energy beneath the skin. Yes, he said softly. It is responding to the power around us. The forest, the moon, and the legacy of our bloodline, all of it is alive, and it is guiding us. As the night deepened, a chill ran through the clearing. Kale's wolf growled again, ears pricked, tail stiff. Shadows moved in the distance, more defined now, more purposeful. Kale rose slowly, placing himself between Lena and the approaching figures. They are coming, he said quietly, and they are not friendly. From the mist, shapes emerged, not wolves this time, but humans cloaked in darkness, their faces hidden. Kale's heart tightened. Rival clans, bandits. People who would see Lena's mother's bloodline as a threat or a prize. Kale's wolf growled, low and threatening. He stepped forward, voice steady and strong. Identify yourselves. There was silence. Then a figure stepped forward, hooded, carrying a staff carved with ancient symbols. Alpha Kale, the figure said, voice smooth and cold. We have been watching. You cannot hide her bloodline forever. Kale's eyes narrowed. Who are you? Speak plainly or leave. The figure's hood fell back, revealing a pale face with eyes that glowed faintly under the moonlight. I am the one who knows the truth about the curse, the figure said. The one who will guide you, if you dare accept it. Kale studied the figure, sensing danger but also a key to the answers he sought. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Lena clutched his coat, eyes wide with fear and curiosity. Kale took a deep breath. Speak, he said. But know this, I protect the child and I will not hesitate to strike if you threaten her. The figure smiled faintly, mysterious and knowing. Then listen carefully, Alpha. Your past is not buried. Your love, your loss, the mother of this child, all are bound by the moon mark. And the curse that haunts your line is far from broken. Kale's wolf growled, low and warning. Kale's heart pounded. He had hoped the past was behind him, but the forest, the moon, and the child had shown him that destiny would not be ignored. The figure stepped back into the shadows, leaving Kale with a single warning. The path to her is dangerous. The dark forces are already moving. The Alpha's strength alone will not be enough. You must awaken more than your power, you must awaken your heart. The figure disappeared, leaving only the whisper of the wind and the soft glow of the moon mark on Lena's wrist. Kale looked at the girl, her small face pale but resolute. He knelt beside her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. We have much to do, he said softly. Tomorrow we begin the journey that will decide everything, the fate of your mother, the forest, and perhaps even mine. Lena nodded, determination burning in her eyes. I'm ready, Kale, I want to help. Kale felt the weight of destiny pressing down on him, heavier than ever before. He knew the journey would be long, dangerous, and filled with trials he could not yet imagine. But he also knew one truth. Whatever lay ahead, he and Lena were bound together by the moon mark, by fate, and by the hope that love, even lost love, could be reclaimed. And somewhere, deep in the forest, the shadows waited. The mist in Nightshade Forest grew heavier as Kale and Lena pressed forward. The moon hung low, casting silver light that danced on the twisted branches above. Every step deeper into the forest carried a tension Kale had not felt in years, a mixture of fear, anticipation, and something he could not name. The moon mark on Lena's wrist pulsed faintly, a gentle heartbeat of light echoing his own. It was a beacon, a guide, and a warning all at once. Kale's wolf padded beside him, muscles tense, ears pricked. It sensed danger, unseen yet near, and Kale's own instincts mirrored the animal's vigilance. Every shadow could hide a threat, every rustle of leaves a trap. Lena walked beside him, small but unwavering, her eyes shining with determination. She was more than just a child. She was a link to a past Kale had buried, a key to a future he had almost given up on. "Kale," Lena whispered, breaking the silence. "Do you think my mother, she remembers you?" Kale's chest tightened. The memory of Solara was sharp and painful. Her laughter, her hands brushing his under the moonlight, the way her eyes had always seemed to see straight into his soul. He swallowed hard. "I do not know," he admitted, "but I hope she does. I hope she remembers the bond we shared. If she is alive, it will be our guide, our connection, and perhaps our chance to heal what was lost." They moved cautiously through the undergrowth until they reached a narrow stream. The water glimmered under the moon, and Kale knelt, letting Lena drink from his hands. She obeyed silently, trusting him completely, and Kale felt a warmth in his chest at her faith. "Stay close," Kale said softly. "We are being watched. I can feel it. The shadow wolves, the figures, they are following us, waiting for a mistake." Lena nodded, her hand gripping his coat. "I'm not afraid," she whispered. Kale allowed himself a faint smile, though his mind was heavy. Courage alone would not protect them. They needed strategy, strength, and wisdom. He thought of the mysterious figure from the clearing, the one who had spoken of the curse and warned him to awaken his heart. Kale had ignored his own feelings for too long. Perhaps it was time to face not only the danger ahead but also the emotions he had buried. As they continued, the forest shifted. The trees became gnarled, twisted, their bark blackened as if burned by some ancient fire. Shadows moved unnaturally, and a chill ran through the air. Kale's wolf growled low, muscles coiling, ready to strike. "There," Kale murmured, pointing ahead. In a clearing, a faint light shimmered, and Kale could sense the presence of dark magic. The air itself seemed to hum with power. "This is where we will find answers and danger." They stepped into the clearing, and Kale froze. A figure stood in the center, cloaked in black, with eyes glowing a harsh violet. The woman's presence radiated power and menace. Kale's wolf bristled, and he could feel the pulse of the moon mark quicken, responding to the energy around them. "Alpha Kale," the woman said, her voice smooth and cold, "I have been expecting you. And the child. You should not have come so far alone." Kale stepped protectively in front of Lena. "Who are you?" he demanded. "What do you want?" The woman smiled faintly, revealing sharp features illuminated by the pale moonlight. "I am the one who holds the key to the curse that binds your line, Alpha. Your beloved Solara, she is alive, yes, but she is not as she once was. Her will has been trapped by the magic I command. She cannot act freely, and the moment she regains her freedom depends on you." Lena's small voice trembled. "Kale, she's alive." Kale's jaw tightened. "Yes," he said, voice low and steady, "and I will bring her back no matter the cost." The woman's eyes gleamed with interest. "Bravery, yes, but you underestimate the challenge. The bond between the moon-marked is not just blood, it is a test. You must face the shadows of your past, awaken the power within you, and confront your deepest fears. Only then will you save her." Kale's wolf growled, but Kale's gaze did not waver. "Tell me what I must do." The woman lifted her staff, and the clearing shimmered with a strange, dark light. Images appeared in the air, memories of Kale's past, of Solara's laughter, of their time together, of betrayal, fear, and loss. Kale felt his heart ache with every memory. He saw himself standing helpless while Solara was taken, the forest burning, the enemies laughing. Every detail was vivid, every regret piercing his soul. "Face your past," the woman said. "Face what you have hidden. Your power alone cannot save her. Your heart must awaken, or all will be lost." Kale's fists clenched. He had spent years building walls around himself, believing that strength alone could protect those he cared about. But the memories, the presence of Lena, the call of the moon mark, they were forcing him to confront what he had denied for too long, his emotions, his longing, his love. He knelt beside Lena. "Stay close to me," he said, voice trembling slightly. "No matter what happens, do not leave my side." Lena nodded, small hands clutching his coat. "I'm with you," she said firmly. "I will help you." Cale took a deep breath. He let the power of the moon mark flow through him, feeling it surge like fire along his veins. His wolf mirrored the motion, body coiling, muscles tensing. The clearing became alive with silver light, and Cale stepped forward into the center, facing the shadowed memories and the woman who controlled them. "Selara," Cale whispered, closing his eyes. "I will not fail you again." The images shifted, showing Selara trapped in a dark chamber, her eyes glowing faintly violet under the same moonlight that now illuminated the clearing. She reached toward him, silent but pleading, and Cale's heart surged with a mixture of fear, hope, and love. He moved forward, each step deliberate, each breath steady. The shadows of the past swirled around him, testing his resolve. He faced the pain of loss, the sting of betrayal, and the fear of failure. But he also felt the presence of Lena, small but unwavering, and through her, the spark of hope that had been buried for years. Cale raised his hands, channeling the energy of the moon mark, and the silver light spread outward, pushing against the shadows. The woman in black hissed softly, stepping back, her staff trembling. Cale's wolf howled, the sound merging with the light, a chorus of strength and defiance. "Let her go," Cale commanded, voice strong and unwavering. "Release Selara." For a moment, silence. The shadows wavered, the light grew brighter, and then, with a sudden burst, Selara appeared before him. She was pale, her eyes glowing faintly violet, bound by invisible threads of dark magic. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Cale's heart ached at the sight, alive but trapped, and so close he could almost touch her. "Selara," Cale cried, stepping forward. "I am here, I will free you, I swear it." Lena reached out her small hand, and the moon mark on her wrist glowed brightly. A beam of silver light shot from her mark, merging with Cale's, and the threads binding Selara began to shimmer and weaken. The woman in black recoiled, anger and fear in her eyes. "This is not over," she hissed, before disappearing into the shadows, leaving only the faint echo of her laughter. Selara collapsed into Cale's arms, weak but alive. He held her tightly, feeling the pulse of her heartbeat, the warmth returning to her body. Tears blurred his vision. "I will never let you go again," he whispered. Selara's eyes met his, and in them, Cale saw recognition, relief, and a deep, unspoken bond that had endured years of separation. Though weakened, she reached up and touched his face, a silent acknowledgement of love and trust. Lena watched quietly, her small face reflecting awe and hope. "You did it," she whispered. Cale looked down at her, a faint smile forming. "No, Lena, we did it, together. The bond of the moon mark and the courage of your heart, it made this possible." The forest seemed to exhale, the mist settling, the shadows retreating. The moon shone brighter, illuminating the clearing, and for the first time in years, Cale felt a sense of peace. The curse was not yet fully broken, the danger not entirely gone, but the first step toward redemption and reunion had been taken. Cale held Selara close, his wolf at his side, and felt the pulse of destiny through them both. The bond of the moon mark was stronger than ever, and through Lena, their connection to the past, present, and future was unbreakable. But deep in the forest, shadows stirred once more. The woman in black had not given up. The curse was not fully lifted. And the journey ahead would demand more than strength. It would demand courage, love, and the awakening of hearts long dormant. Cale looked at Selara and Lena, resolve hardening in his eyes. "We are not finished," he said softly. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." The moon marked their wrists, pulsing with silver light. The night held its breath. And the forest waited, knowing that destiny, love, and power were only beginning to collide. The forest was silent, almost expectant, as Kale, Solara, and Lena moved through the mist-shrouded trees. The moon hung heavy and full, casting silver light over everything, illuminating the path that led deeper into Nightshade Forest. Even the wind seemed to pause, as if the forest itself knew that the final act of their journey had begun. Kale's hands were steady, but his heart raced. Solara was alive, finally free from the sorceress's dark binding, yet her strength had not returned. Her violet glowing eyes held a quiet pain, a reminder of the ordeal she had endured. Lena walked close to Kale, her small hand brushing his arm, her eyes filled with determination and hope. "Kale," Solara whispered, her voice soft but firm. "The curse, it is not gone. We need to destroy its source. Only then will the bonds break completely." Kale nodded. "I know. And I will not fail. Whatever comes, I will protect you, both of you. I swear it." They moved carefully through the forest until they reached a clearing unlike any other. Towering trees surrounded a stone altar covered in ancient runes. The air was thick with magic, dark and pulsating, and Kale could feel the curse radiating from it like a heartbeat of shadow. The moon mark on his wrist burned with energy, reacting to the altar's power. Lena's mark glowed in response, and even Solara's pulse flickered with silver light. "The sorceress," Kale murmured. "She is drawing power from here. This is her lair." The ground trembled, and a wind like whispers of the dead swept through the clearing. From the shadows, the woman in black emerged, staff in hand, her eyes glowing violet with intensity. "Alpha Kale," she said, her voice like ice, "you have come far. But do you think you can undo the curse so easily?" Kale stepped forward, shielding Lena and Solara. "I do not think I will." His voice carried authority, courage, and the strength of a bond that had endured years of separation. The sorceress laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the trees. "Your love is not enough. The curse is older than you, older than your clan. Only by surrendering yourself completely to its power will you have a chance." Kale's wolf growled, a deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the ground. The alpha closed his eyes, drawing energy from the moon mark, feeling it pulse through his veins, awakening strength he had kept hidden for decades. He felt Solara's presence beside him, fragile but unwavering, and Lena's small hand pressed against his side, connecting them all through destiny. "We do not surrender," Kale said, opening his eyes. Silver light flowed from his mark, forming a barrier around them. "We fight." Together, the sorceress raised her staff, and dark tendrils of energy shot toward them. Kale moved with precision, channeling the moon's energy through his hands and into the ground. Light clashed with shadow, silver against violet, illuminating the clearing in bursts of brilliance. Lena reached out, her small hand glowing, her mark feeding the light, joining Kale's strength with her own. Solara, despite her weakness, stepped forward. Her violet eyes flared, and she joined her hands with Kale's. The three of them became a conduit, the energy of their combined moon marks flowing outward in a surge of light that pushed back the shadows. The sorceress screamed, stumbling, her staff quivering. Kale's wolf leapt, teeth bared, protecting Lena as Kale moved closer to the altar. "This ends now," he shouted, his voice carrying over the clearing like thunder. Kale placed both hands on the stone altar. The runes glowed violently, reacting to the combined energy of the moon marks. Shadows writhed around them, clawing at the silver light, but they could not break the bond. Lena's small hands pressed against the altar as well, and Solara's joined theirs. Together, the three pulsed with energy, and the curse began to unravel. The sorceress, furious and powerless against their combined force, screamed one last time before vanishing into a swirl of dark smoke. The altar cracked, and a final burst of silver light shot into the night sky, illuminating the entire forest. The curse had been broken. Kale fell to his knees, exhausted but triumphant. Solara collapsed into his arms, weak but alive. Lena knelt beside them, her small face radiant with joy and relief. Kale held Solara tightly. "You're safe now," he whispered. "I won't let anything harm you again." Solara's hand brushed against his cheek, and in her eyes, Kale saw gratitude, love, and a silent promise. "I never stopped believing in you," she said softly. Lena watched them, her small smile full of hope. "You two, you're together again." Kale looked down at Lena, pride and affection in his eyes. "We are," he said, "and you helped make this possible. Your courage, your heart, your connection to your mother, it guided us." The forest seemed to sigh in relief. The mist lifted slightly. The trees stood taller, and even Kale's wolf lay down beside them, calm for the first time in days. The silver light of the moon reflected off the clearing, bathing them in a glow that felt like peace, like home. Solara rested her head against Kale's chest. "I was afraid," she whispered. "Afraid I would never see you again." Kale held her tighter, pressing his forehead against hers. "I will never let you go again," he said. "The past is behind us. We will face the future together." For the first time in years, Kale felt the weight of his burdens lift. The curse was broken, the shadows were gone, and the bond of the moon mark had proven stronger than fear, betrayal, or even death. Lena stood, brushing moss from her coat, and looked up at the sky. "The moon, it's brighter than before," she said softly. "It feels happy." Kale chuckled softly, a sound rare and warm. "The moon has seen many things," he said. "It has seen darkness, despair, and fear, but it also sees courage, love, and hope. Tonight it shines for all of us." Solara looked up at Kale, her violet eyes softened by moonlight. "Kale, the bond between us, it's stronger than I ever imagined. Even after everything, it survived." Kale smiled faintly. "Some bonds cannot be broken, Solara. Not by time, not by distance, not even by curses." Solara's lips curved into a small, genuine smile. "Then let us walk into the future together. No more shadows, no more fear." Kale nodded, holding her hand firmly. Lena's small hand rested against their joined hands, completing the circle. The three of them stood together, bound by love, courage, and the silver light of the moon. The forest, once dark and foreboding, now seemed alive with a new energy. Flowers glimmered faintly in the moonlight, the wind carried whispers of peace, and the creatures of Nightshade Forest observed quietly from the shadows, no longer threatening, but acknowledging the power and harmony that now existed. Kale knelt, brushing Lena's hair back gently. "You are brave," he said softly, "and your mother would be proud. You have reminded me of the power of heart and the strength of hope." Lena smiled shyly. "I just wanted to help, and now she's safe because of you." "No," Kale corrected, smiling down at her. "It is because of all of us. Courage comes in many forms. You have yours, Lena, and it has saved the night." Solara pressed her head against Kale's shoulder. "I never realized the bond we share. It is more than love. It is destiny. It is hope. It is strength. And it is alive again, thanks to you." Kale's wolf padded to their side, resting his head on Kale's knee, a reminder of loyalty, protection, and the primal force that had guided them through darkness. Kale stroked its fur gently. "We are stronger together," he said. "Stronger than any curse, stronger than any shadow." The moon glowed brighter still, bathing the forest in a silver light that seemed to wash away all fear. Kale looked at Solara, then Lena, then at his wolf, and for the first time in years he felt completely at peace. "Kale," Solara whispered. "What now?" Kale smiled softly. "Now we live together, we rebuild, we protect what is ours, and we make sure that the shadows never return." Lena looked up at them, her eyes sparkling. "Can we stay together forever?" Kale knelt to her level, smiling warmly. "Yes, Lena, always. The bond of the moon mark, the courage of our hearts, it will keep us together forever." The three of them stood beneath the full moon, their moon marks glowing in unison. The curse was broken, the danger had passed, and love had prevailed. The forest, once a place of fear, now reflected their triumph, their hope, and the strength of bonds that no darkness could sever. Kale held Solara's hand tightly, glancing down at Lena's small hand nestled between theirs. "This is the start of everything," he said. "A new dawn, a new path and a future we shape together. And as the moon bathed the clearing in silver light, Kale, Celara, and Lena knew that the night was behind them. The shadows may linger in distant corners of the world, but together they could face anything. Their hearts, bound by destiny, courage, and love, were unbreakable. The forest was alive with silver light. The moon mark pulsed softly, a promise to the future. And the Alpha, his love, and the child who had awakened their destiny, they walked forward into the dawn, forever bound by the light of the moon.